Hey everybody, I'm Brian Goulet of GouletPens.com, and I personally am a huge fan of blue fountain pens. So I thought, what's more appropriate than for me to give you my list of the top blue fountain pens, at least the ones we have at GouletPens.com. Now, truth be told, we started out as a top 5 list because that's what Drew was doing for another video. I couldn't do 5, so it's more than that. But just roll with me. They're all beautiful pens, and I'm excited to talk about them. So I didn't order it in terms of like which are my favorite or anything like that, but I did kind of go like low price to high price. So I thought that was a good way to organize it. So let's get into it. The Platinum Preppy Blue. Now this is a very popular starter pen, the Preppy as a whole, but the blue is one of the more popular colors. I think it's just very pleasing. It's a nice translucent blue. You can get an extra fine, fine, and medium stainless steel nibs for $7. I mean, it is such a good, affordable pen. You can use it with platinum cartridges. You can get a platinum converter, which actually costs more than the pen. So a lot of people like to eyedropper convert it too. But either way, it's a great writing pen, really reliable, and just a good one to have around, and the blue is really nice. Next one up is the Pilot Explorer Blue. Now this comes in a fine and medium stainless steel nib. It's identical to other Pilot stainless steel nibs if you're familiar with those. It's a really stunning color, very bright kind of electric blue. And it's a very light pen, so it's very easy to write with and it won't like weigh you down. It comes with a Con B converter, which is kind of nice. It also takes Pilot cartridges, but you can get a larger Con 70 converter if you want bigger ink capacity up to 1 milliliter. Now it's a great alternate kind of starter pen for anybody who maybe doesn't want a pen that's as heavy as the Metropolitan. If you want something kind of lighter and thinner, and it's a great option at $25. All right, next up, definitely gonna be some TWSBIs on this list because TWSBI makes a lot of really stunning blue pens. I have the TWSBI Eco Translucent Blue. Now, a lot of nib options with this one. Extra fine, fine, medium, broad, 1.1 millimeter stub. These are all stainless steel nibs. And this is a piston filling pen, which is a really good bargain, and it's a well-built pen. It's a very pleasing blue, but recently, they've come out with a pen called Indigo Blue. So this is a variant of the Eco, and it's more expensive because it's got bronze trim, which it just looks so good. It's a darker blue, kind of leaning more of a teal, but it's got all the same great aspects of a TWSBI Eco. I think either one of these is a fantastic option. All right, next up, this is one of my favorite colors of blue pen. This is the LAMY Al-star Ocean Blue. Now, this is a classic pen. We've carried this one since basically starting to sell Lamy over a decade ago. It's got an aluminum body and a really nice blue finish with kind of a slight matte finish to it that just like, it just glows. It doesn't get a real hard gloss when lights on it. The thing just kind of lights up. I love it. And the smoky grip really complements it well too. It's a very solid Lamy platform of a pen, similar to the Safari if you're familiar with that. And it's got nibs that you can swap in between all your Lamy pens if you're into that. Now Lamy gets a lot of special attention with their special editions, but this Ocean Blue remains a popular choice year after year because it's a great pen, and in my opinion, it's the perfect shade of blue. All right, we got another TWSBI on the list here. Surprise, surprise. This is the TWSBI Diamond 580 ALR in navy blue. Now the 580 is TWSBI's most recognizable model probably. This is a variant of it here, the 580 ALR, which is similar, but it's got some aluminum parts. It's got an aluminum piston rod, some trim pieces, and a textured grip, which some people love, some people hate, but that's what you get with this one. Comes in a good variety of nibs, extra fine, fine, medium, broad, 1.1 millimeter stainless steel. It's got really good build quality, just like the Eco, but it's got a little more elaborate design to it, especially with that diamond shape on the barrel. It just looks really classy. This navy's a great color, but I would be remiss to not also mention the Prussian blue. Now that pen leans a little more teal, so I kind of wanted to highlight the navy blue a little bit more for this list, but they're both great pens, and you know, it is called Prussian blue after all, so why not? $65 for this, great pens. Get them both. So we're now stepping up into gold nib territory. So it's going to jump up a little bit in price. So we got the Pilot Vanishing Point in blue matte. Now the Vanishing Point is a unique pen. It's the most popular click retractable fountain pen on the market. And the blue matte is a relatively newer color option on this long established model. It's got an 18 karat gold nib in extra fine, fine, and medium. And it's got one of the finer extra fine nibs that you can get. It writes really, really well too. The grip, you know, might take a little getting used to because it's retractable, so it's got the clip near the grip of the pen, which is kind of unique to this one. Some people are bothered by it. I've never had a problem. Most people don't, but it's a thing. And this dark blue color looks really great, especially with that black trim and the black nib that they do, very classy. And the matte finish on this blue gives it a little extra grip on the pen too, so it's nice to hold. And it's a decent pen at 168 bucks. All right, now we're on to Kaweco. This is a German brand. They have a couple different pens. First one I'm gonna mention is the Liliput in Fireblue. So this is a really unique pen for Kaweco's offering. It's a tiny pocket pen, which is already really cool. And they have other versions of it that are aluminum, but this one is made of steel. And what's cool about that is because it's made of steel, they actually like torch the pen and it creates this fired blue kind of purple finish that gives all kinds of unique shades. Every pen is completely different because it's all hand fired and it just looks really, really unique. I mean, it has a little bit of a kind of a matte finish to it as well. It only comes in a fine stainless steel nib, which is fine. It's not unusual for pocket pens to be a little more limited in their offerings. And it's cartridge only because it's so tiny, but it's standard international cartridge. It's pretty easy to find ones that work well with that. Now, if you want that same look on a slightly larger pen, you can go up to the Supra Fireblue. So I'm kind of lumping these two together in this one because they really look similar, but the Supra is a little bit bigger pen. It's got a bigger nib on it, that number 6 size nib, and you get more nib offerings with an extra fine and a fine nib. And what's cool about this one is it's got an extra little section that you can put into the pen that makes it longer. So you can actually use a full-size converter in this one if you want to make it a little bit easier to use bottled ink. It's definitely more for the Supra than for the Liliput, but they're both really cool pens. All right, we're on to one of the pens that is near and dear to my heart. This is the Pilot Custom 74 in the blue finish. Now, this was my first gold nib pen, and I gotta say, it was a great introduction into what can make a gold nib great. It's got a bouncy 14 karat gold nib. It comes available in extra fine, fine, medium. It also comes in broad, but we don't carry that at the moment. But it's a very reliable writer. It's a cartridge converter pen. It actually comes with the larger Pilot Con 70 converter, which holds around a milliliter of ink. It's a go-to pen. I still love it. 176 bucks, it's hard to go wrong. Now we got another platinum on the list here. Little bit different league than the Preppy that we already talked about. This is the Platinum 3776 in Chartres blue. Now this is a gorgeous blue pen, slightly translucent. It's meant to represent the blue stained glass from the windows of the Chartres Cathedral in France. It's a very unique blue color. If you go and Google that and look it up, you'll see it's like a special blue. And it's pretty accurate. So it's a 14 karat gold nib on this pen. Comes in an ultra extra fine, fine, and medium. And that ultra extra fine is about the finest nib that you're gonna find on any production fountain pen without having to go with a custom grind. Thing writes like a nail. It's very scratchy because it's so thin, but if you really like fine lines, that is the nib for you. Now the nibs on this, they're a little bit stiffer than Pilot's, you know, so that's just part of like how Platinum does it. It's very thick gold nibs that they use, so it's not gonna be quite as bouncy, but if you like having a little bit of drag on the page, this is a great pen that gives you a little bit more of that sense of grip as you're writing. And then I also have to mention another pen that's the same model, but it's a different color. This is a US exclusive called the Sands of Komodo. Now it's an exclusive, it's higher in price, but it's a beautiful turquoise translucent pen with rose gold trim. I think it looks stunning. One of my favorites, but both these pens are gorgeous and both worthy blue pens for this list. And last, but certainly not least, we come back to LAMY again. This is the LAMY Dialog CC in dark blue. Now this is a smaller version of the retractable nib Dialog 3. And I really like the overall length of this Dialog CC. The Dialog 3 is a little bit long for me, but I like that shorter pen. It's got a beautiful matte blue finish with this rose gold trim. It looks amazing. It's so classy, and just the overall design is very unique and distinctive. And this retractable nib comes out when you twist the pen, so it's different than the Vanishing point, which is a click. And it's just a great tinkering pen. A lot of cool engineering going on there. It's really fascinating to kind of play with it. It's got a 14 karat nib on LAMY's, you know, the same one they have on the Studios and some of the other LAMY pens. Not the LAMY 2000 has a different nib, but all the other LAMY pens will use a gold nib that's similar to this one. It's extra fine, fine, and medium. And boy, I really love the way that these nibs write. They seem small, but they are bouncy, they're wet, they're very smooth. It's a great feel. And what's also cool is you can take this nib and you can swap it on other pens like a Safari or an All-Star and get a similar writing experience. So it's kind of cool with that versatility. So this is the most expensive pen on our list at $351, but I think it's a pretty cool one to kind of cap the list. So there you go. There's my list of what started out as 5 and then 10 and then a few extras in there too. I don't know, I just really like blue pens. But you know, I was really thinking to myself, like, okay, I have a lot of blue pens, I really like them. There's a couple others that I came to mind, like which ones would I really enjoy. So I just figured I'd mention the new Noodler's Ahab Flex Pen in Lapis Inferno. That one's kind of cool. The, of course, 580 ALR in Navy Blue. The TWSBI Swipe in Prussian Blue. It's a little leaning green, but it's a good pen. The Monteverde Invincia Nebula. That's really cool looking. We also have the Varsity in blue. We have the Vanishing Point, of course, blue matte, the Indigo, and the Indigo blue with the bronze trim. Boy, that is just really stylish. We have the Classic in Sapphire too, the other TWSBI blue pen. We have the Vanishing Point in blue Carbonesque. That is really interesting.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Platinum Brazier Frosty Blue. The Sailor Pro Gear Slim in the First Snow is pretty cool. Platinum 37.6 Celluloid Caracusa. You know, it's just to name a few. But in all seriousness here, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Of course, we have lots of great blue pens, so we'll link to those down in the video description. We have lots of other cool pens and other fountain pen related things that you can check out at gouletpens.com. Appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Let me know which blue pen is your favorite, or maybe other colors if you'd like to see more videos like this. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and right on.